So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our special video on Saturn today. And this is kind of continuation of my video that I made, I believe 3 weeks ago, of Secrets of Saturn, where I talked about, in order to understand planets, all you have to do, the simplest thing to do, is put that planet in the ascendant and pretend like you're giving this planet a consultation. So if, let's say, Saturn actually said, I am taking birth as a human just so I can get a consultation from you, what will you say? That's how you can get astrology in a most simplest manner. If you just combined this particular technique of putting planets in the ascendant and looking at every house from that planet. What about Saturn's wealth? What about Saturn's siblings? What about Saturn's mother, children, enemies, spouse, and transformation and gurus and work? All of this, you will be able to understand when a planet is sitting in a certain sign in a certain house. Because you would know that is that Saturn in that particular house behaving like it's in the ascendant. That's how simple that is. So today what I wanted to talk about is Saturn, or looking at fourth from Saturn. Fourth from Saturn is a very unique and special placement. So wherever, let's say, Saturn is, fourth from itself is what we want to understand. And the way to understand is you put Saturn in the ascendant and pretend you're giving reading to a Saturn. So what do we know? First of all, what is the fourth house? Fourth house is the mother, comfort, happiness, right? It's our joy. It's our childhood friends, even our childhood enemies. It's our education, the most basic of education we receive in our life. It's conveniences, land, real estate. It represents vehicles. So what is then fourth from Saturn? So whenever Saturn, you can say Saturn being in the ascendant, third house, doesn't matter. What you have to do is make that Saturn the ascendant from that house. So that means if you have, let's say, Saturn in the 11th house, then pretend like it is about the life of elder sibling and professional network circles. If it's in the 9th house, you pretend like Saturn is in the ascendant in the 9th house. That means it's going to reflect things related to the father, guru, counselors, advisors. So what do we know about Saturn? In terms of Saturn's life, Saturn was born through a very mystical procedure. It wasn't about Saturn being an illegitimate child. Saturn wasn't. Saturn was kind of like a child of a cloned mother. Because Sun's wife, Surya's wife, because Saturn is the son of Sun, the setting sun that is right there. He's the son of Sun in our older Puranic knowledge. The wife of Sun, whose name was Sanjana, she couldn't bear the heat of the sun. It was too hot. She could not be around Sun. Even when he manifested himself as a human being, she could not be around him. So she's like, okay, I got to get away from Sun. But I cannot let Sun know that I'm getting away from him, because then Sun is going to come looking for me. So she created like a clone of herself known as Chaya. Chaya means the shadow. That does not mean Chaya looked like a shadow, because Sun could not differentiate. Are you my wife or are you a shadow? I mean, if it was a shadow, it'd be like, whoa, you're scaring me. You're something, very mystical here, something very spooky. Something very voodoo-ish. But no, Chaya simply meant that this is my reflection. Meaning, She will look, behave, and act exactly like me, but it's not me. It's just something I've cloned. Just so I can get away and go to the jungles and be away from the heat of the sun. And through Chaya, through that cloned shadow, Saturn was born. Because Sun didn't know, who is this person? He just made love to her and Saturn was born. So what do we see? So if I was to give Saturn a reading, I would be like, okay, the fourth from Saturn would be the Saturn's mother, which shows there's a shadow element to Saturn's mother. Now, probably in 200-300 years, it can literally match the story of Saturn. That you were born through the clone of a different person. I'd be like, yeah, my mother's a clone of this one lady who passed away, but she cloned herself. So we're in 2021. So if you're watching me like 200 years from now, first of all, good luck surviving 200 years from now. But if you did, welcome. Hopefully this particular, technique and prediction is working out. But what it shows, fourth from Saturn, is that the mother will have two sides to herself. Mother will be something else in the front, something else in the back. Naturally, a person will feel like they have been raised by like a stepmother. Because again, it is kind of becomes like a stepmother. This is why Saturn also represents stepmothers. So if you look at the horoscope of Sri Ram, the Lord Sri Ram, he is a Cancer ascendant with Saturn in the 4th house. Exalted. But the thing is, if you make Saturn the ascendant for our God, Lord Ram, it would definitely play that story that, okay, there's going to be something related to either a stepmother or the shadow of the mother. So 4th from Saturn becomes this place where a person will never be able to figure out if this thing is real or not. Things mysteriously come, mysteriously go. One may get a property mysteriously in their life. They never expected a property from their sibling or from their parents, but they get it. Mother's nourishment will feel like it's there, but it just, I don't feel like you might be my mother. And also, the happiness is from the mother, right? It becomes a very shadowy area of life. Because again, it's Chaya. 4th from Saturn is where Chaya resides, is where the mother of Saturn resides. So that means the happiness, the comfort becomes a very dark spot for this individual. They deal with it, they have it, but they feel like this is not exactly what I'm supposed to be experiencing in life. Because Saturn was supposed to be born by his real mother, the uncloned mother, which is Sanjana. But you got to remember, it's not really a stepmother. It's like Sanjana created exactly the same person as her. Same DNA, same thoughts, same everything. But Saturn was born through this particular clone. And then it merged back into Sanjana. So it wasn't like somebody separate who died. No. She eventually merged back into Sanjana. Sanjana came back. Like, okay, listen, I created this shadow because I know magic. And of course, we're living in a time where everybody knows all kinds of magic. So pretty much 4th from Saturn doesn't necessarily become a karmic spot for us. It becomes a shadowy spot for us. We cannot understand and figure out how to achieve something which is 4th from Saturn. So when you, let's say, see Saturn in the 3rd house, that means younger sibling will feel like, so if you, let's say you have a really great relationship with a mother, the younger sibling to you will feel like the mother is Chaya. If you have Saturn in the 9th house, father will feel like father is living the life of Saturn who's dealing with Chaya, the shadow mother. And one of the things you will notice, if you have Saturn in the ascendant, and if you have an elder sibling, the elder sibling will completely be neglected by the mother. Yet you as an individual will stand up for your elder sibling and fight for him with your father, which is Surya, and the mother, which is Chaya, at this particular moment. So fourth for Saturn becomes this place where you're going to be playing out the life of Shani itself. Life of Shani itself. Now, I'm not particularly going into details of this particular placement due to, certain dramatic life instances and events that happens. That's something I will discuss with someone if, let's say, they're over 50. Let's say somebody who's, let's say, even over 40, 45. Because they would have lived through that event and they would have understood that event. But for me to just spew it out here on YouTube, it's definitely not healthy for you and definitely not healthy for me in terms of incurring karmas. So I'm giving enough information where you will just get it. But I just don't want to say it myself. But again, if somebody was to come up to me and I saw this particular positions, or if I, let's say, was just to give a Saturn reading, I know exactly what to be asking them. What exactly would be occurring in a person's life. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was a small tidbit of Saturn and talking about fourth from Saturn in astrology itself. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss this type of videos. If you want to know where your Saturn is placed, all your astrological details for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.